He ends up giving her her jacket, giving him her jacket. No, giving him his jacket. Giving him his jacket, and so, like, I don't know. He's the reason that happened, and pretty much gaslit her the fuck up. Not literally, but literally at the same time. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel if you're a returning subscriber, and if you're new, what's up? In today's video, I'm coming to you guys with my most disappointed and most amazing books of the year 2023, okay? So I am really excited for this video. I'm currently recording this on December 27th, and I am currently reading a book that I'm trying to debate if I want to add to this list. I mean, I am enjoying it, and I genuinely believe it's going to be a 5-star book. I don't know. If I do, I'll probably just create community tabs for you guys to add them in. But as of right now, as of 2027, not 2027, December 27th, with there only being like a couple more days, like 4 more days until New Year's, I figured I should just go ahead and create this video now. But yeah, so as you guys know, when it comes to like my reading wrap-ups, I like to include like the DNFs and everything like that, and I start off with those first before I head on into like my star rated finished books in that month. So that's what I decided to do for this video. I'm going to actually start off with the books that were the most disappointing of 2023, and then I'm going to go into the books that I felt like were like my top favorite books of 2023. Some of these you may already know from previous books, like my mid-year challenge that I did on this channel. Some of those books are also going to be included in this video, as well as some other books that I may have just talked about either in like my monthly wrap-ups and talked to you guys about how they're 5 stars. And yeah, so you may have already heard of some of these books, and you may have already heard of the most disappointing books as well, because I'm pretty sure I like created reading vlogs of these and such. But either way, I guess it's a way to like had this whole entire one video of all these books I've talked about throughout the year. So I'm really excited. I also have some books that I had to put in my notes because for some reason one of the books that I was looking for as far as like my top reads for 2023 I couldn't find. So I made sure to put it in my notes to talk. I'll talk about those books first just because I don't have the actual physical book, and I'll just post a picture of them. But as far as all the other books, I have them all right here. So I'm really excited. So yeah, with all that being said, let's just go ahead and jump right into the video. Alrighty, you guys, so again, like I stated at the beginning of this video, I'm going to start off with my most disappointed books of 2023. And again, like I said, I'll just start off with the books that I have that I don't physically have right here, and I have it in my notes. So the first one is going to be a manga series, and it's actually going to be like a box set, because I believe I read the entire box set, but it's going to be none other than Sweat and Soap. That is probably one of my biggest disappointments of 2023, for the simple fact that it wasn't hidden as I thought it was supposed to hit. Like, I just heard so many great things about the series. It's supposed to be about this girl who has this interesting smell, who works for this company. I would relate it to like working for a Dove, or like some along those lines, like a place that sells soap and fragrances and stuff like that. That's where she pretty much works at, but she has this interesting smell, and so she pretty much camouflages her smell with that company's brand scent and stuff like that. And so one of the dudes that works at the place as well, he's like the top dude to come up with scents for the business. And so when he's like walking in like the main office of the company, he ends up smelling something that really like intrigues him, and so he ends up finding out that the scent is actually her, the main girl. And of course she is like devastated and doesn't want him to smell her because she's very insecure about her scent and thinks that it smells terrible and everything. But he loves it, and he loves it so much that he wants to use her scent as another fragrance, like another collection in the company. So he wants to use her scent as another fragrance collection in the company, but she is obviously against it. It doesn't you know, want that to happen. He's begging her and begging her, and pretty much the way he's like, let me just hang around you for a little while to like really capture what your scent is. And as that goes on, they develop a relationship and blase, and that's pretty much how that all starts off between those two. So that's pretty much the plot of Sweat and Soap, and it was okay. I did a reading vlog of it. If you guys want to check out, I have it on this channel. So if you guys want to check out the reading vlog of it, you can. But I just was expecting more as far as like their romance goes, if that makes sense. Like their romance just wasn't hitting for what I thought it was going to hit. The way people always describe Sweat and Soap and describe the series and stuff. Don't get me wrong, the art was really good, and you know, that's pretty much it. Like, I guess the storyline of it wasn't really capturing to me like I thought it would be. So yeah, that's coming in at number 1. Sweat and Soap was probably one of my most disappointed reads of 2023. Alrighty, so besides that, all the other ones that I have for 2023 are going to be, I have the actual physical books right over here. So we're going to start with the first one. Again, for each part of this like video, my most disappointed and my most like amazing books of 2023, I'm going to start off with the manga series first, and then I'm going to go into my regular books. So just to give you guys a heads up. Okay, so coming in at, I guess, number 2 of most disappointed of 2023 is going to be none other than Ladies on Top. This is coming in at number 2. And you know, I need to stop saying number 2 because they're not in order, really. It's just I'm doing manga first and then my regular books. But yeah, the second book, I'll just say that much. Second book, and again, these aren't in order, like, no, 1 through nothing. Especially my most favorite books, I just have them, well, they're kind of in order, but they're kind of not in order because I kind of got them in order based off like the last book that I read that I gave a 5-star. That's the last one I'm going to talk to you guys about. And also that was like my highly favorite one of 2023. But as far as my disappointed ones, they're not really rated in like 1 through so and so, you know what I mean? So, but anyways, Love on Top. This is a series I feel like you have to read or want to get the 2nd volume and the 3rd volume to really get into the plot of it all. And that's the thing. In order for me to really want to do that, you got to capture me in the first one. And I genuinely don't think I was captured in the first one. This is a older teen, parent advisory, explicit content on this one. It's pretty much says, Mizuki looks like an ordinary office lady, cute, quiet, and looking for Mr. Right. But while she yearns for love, traditional romances where men take the lead just leave her cold. Then, at the age of 24, Mizuki discovers Shinomiya, a seemingly perfect co-worker who likes aggressive women, and she experiences a fiery awakening. Together, Mizuki and Shinomiya learn that reversing traditional gender roles can be both liberating and exciting. So obviously at that, it was piquing my interest. I mean, Ladies on Top, she was going to be the more dominant, he was going to be the more submissive. So I was like, okay, I'm ready. And you don't really get into any of that in the first volume. Like the first volume, they pretty much talk about it. Like they're still trying to understand what they're looking for romantically in a partner, like how she's pretty much looks like very insecure and doesn't want to come off aggressive, and he's like insecure, he doesn't want to come off submissive because of like the stereotypes and all that stuff of how he's a man, he's supposed to be dominant, and how she's a woman, she's supposed to be, you know, submissive and stuff like that. So pretty much that's all the first volume is about. It doesn't get into none of the nitty gritty. It's very slow paced, which I will say is very different reading from manga, because manga is so fast paced. They really hop into like whatever you read the synopsis is, that is what you're already jumping into in the first volume. And even though you kind of were jumping into that in the first volume, it was just mostly them talking about it. It was nothing as far as like them actually acting on those roles that they feel comfortable in performing in, if that makes sense. Like, and they weren't necessarily even talking about it to each other. It was more so in their own dialogue, like them still conflicting on what they wanted to do sexually, if that makes sense. So it was just like they each other don't even know, they haven't even expressed to each other how one wants to be dominant and one wants to be submissive. It is not the typical gender roles. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's just like saying it in their own dialogue. And so it's just like, the way they leave it off, I remember, is them talking in a car about pretty much leaving you on a cliffhanger to where you're gonna want to get the second volume, because at that point I feel like that's when they're gonna really jump into her disclosing to him how she wants to be dominant, and then him disclosing to her how he wants to be submissive. And I think that's how they leave it off, so that you can pretty much pick up the second volume. But at that point I was just like, and I ain't gonna cap, I was kind of getting off of my reading slump in April, May and stuff like that. So at that point I was just like, I ain't got time for that. You ain't gonna do, like, I don't, especially because this, how much was this? $14.99? $14.99 for y'all to not even hop into the plot until the second volume, really. Pretty much we just talking about it, and then y'all finally put the plot into action the second volume, but I paid $14.99 for this. That's what really ticked me off. So I was like, no, disappointment, because you pretty much ganked me. You didn't finesse me to try to get me to get into the second volume, so then I could actually get into the actual plot instead of y'all just talking about the plot. You get what I'm saying? Like, I ain't had time for that. So Ladies on Top was a big disappointment for me. I'm looking at it because it's like, again, like I said, they really finessed you into pretty much wanting you to get the second volume, so then stuff really starts to pop off, and it's making me think like maybe in the new year I might get the second volume of it just to see like what it do, you feel me? But as of right now, it's a disappointment of 2023. So okay guys, next and last manga series that I have that's like my biggest disappointment of 2023. Oh, you guys can see it. I don't want you guys to see it, so you can at least see one of them. Okay you guys, so coming in at the next and last manga series that I have that was my biggest disappointment of 2023 is going to be none other than Yakuza Lover. You guys pretty much probably already up to date on how I feel about this one specifically, because I read this in November, so I had this in my November wrap up. I just didn't feel like the romance between the two was believable. Not to me, at least. And again, like I told you guys, when it came to like Ladies on Top, how the plot pretty much is pushed to the second volume. This plot hops like into like the third, fourth page. It's already starting off. It's very fast. It's very quick. That's what really shocked me about Ladies on Top, because manga is very fast paced as to get into the main point of the story, whereas for this one it was too damn quick. It was too damn quick. It was too damn quick for it to be believable, especially when they had so many other volumes in the series, because I ended up grabbing and picking up volume 2 with this because I really thought I was gonna love this, because it's supposed to be like, you know, erotic, and then you got the Yakuza element of it and all that. So I was like, let me just get the first 2, just because if I really enjoy it, I can just kind of like binge read a little bit but not go too crazy, because I think they have like up to like maybe 5 or 6 volumes of this. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was just a little too quick for me, a little too quick. And plus the main character, the main guy character, he just wasn't, I don't know, he wasn't giving what I thought he was gonna give. I ain't gonna cap. Like, I don't know.
Stacy, I want to try something with Stan. Go get me a butterscotch.
A butterscotch what?
It just wasn't giving what it needed to give. As you can tell, Yakuza Lover, she ends up getting held up by a group of people who are doing some drugs, and I'm assuming, I'm gonna take a guess and say they stole the drugs from his Yakuza gang, because I don't know what was his point in even popping up at the club, but he ended up popping up in the club, saving her and her friend from pretty much being forced to take the drug, because they accidentally walked in on the people taking the drug, and so they were like, oh no, if we going down, you going down with us. So they were going to force them to take the drugs, but then she was fighting them off. He comes in, save her and his friend, gives her a card with his name on it, and say pretty much that if you show people this card, they're going to know to back off of you because of who I am and all that stuff. And he ends up giving her her jacket, giving him her jacket, no, giving him his jacket, giving him his jacket. And so A couple days go past. She's like, oh, I just need to give him his jacket back, and I can't stop thinking about him and how like sexy he is and how like, you know, I guess. And so she ends up running back into him, giving him his jacket, and they just start this romance. And it's very quick. Like in a couple of pages they start this romance. It's stupid quick, stupid fast. Yeah, so that's pretty much the plot of that. And yeah, it was just a disappointment for what I had high hopes for it, and it didn't reach those it didn't reach those hopes that I had for it. Let me just say that. But nonetheless, yes. So we got all of the manga out of the way. So let's go ahead and jump into my regular books. So this one is crazy because I actually rated this like 3 stars because it would have been rated higher if the ending didn't end the way it ended, but that's not how it happened. That's not how it happened. So yeah, but it's gonna be none other than Colleen Hoover, November 9. This was a disappointment of 2023. And I don't even know. I feel like when I say disappointment, it makes it feel like I had high hopes for it. The gag is, I really did not have high hopes for this, because I'm gonna be honest with you guys, even though I ain't gonna count, including this, I have a total of 4 Colleen Hoover books on my shelf. Why? Because I was supposed to start this whole Colleen Hoover series on my channel, ain't gonna count, of me reading her books and seeing what the hype really was. So I did this first reading vlog, this one, and I read November 9. I'm pretty sure you can go ahead and check that out on my channel as well. And because I read this earlier in the year. You see this right here would have been rated higher. Probably would have gave it a 4 star. Probably would have gave it a 5 because I think it is. I understand the hype as far as like reading Colleen Hoover books is very fast paced. It's very easy to read. You don't gotta really think too much when you wanna read, but you don't really want to think too much. You feel me? You feel what I'm saying? Colleen Hoover probably gonna be it. Now, why I rated just a 3 star? I may have did it a 2 star, probably. I don't know. I may have gave it a 2 star. I don't know. I don't remember. I just know it wasn't a 4 or 5 star. So one thing is that this is categorized as romance. That's where it's gonna be a strike, because there's literally nothing romantic about the characters in this book. Who was it? Fallon and Ben. Bitch, Ben had me fucked up a lot of times. Cause see, Fallon is a burn victim. She was stuck in her father's home when his house got caught on fire, and so I want to say 70% of her body is covered in burn marks. And I'm just gonna head and explore the plot. I mean, I figured you guys have already read this book, but Ben is pretty much at fault for why Fallon is 70% burnt. Okay, because he is the one who set her dad's house on fire after he found out his mother was sleeping with her dad. And I guess I remember her dad ended up leaving his mom, which caused what he thought it had caused his mother to commit the S word. So with that in mind, he thought her father had something to do with it, so he wanted to pretty much get back at her father by setting his house on fire, which ended up plot twisting because I don't even think the dad was in the house. He wasn't in the house. He wasn't. Nobody was supposed to be in the house, because I think what had happened was Fallon had ended up leaving him a message, her dad a message, telling him that she was going to be at his house, but he never got back to her. Long story short, he set the house on fire. She was in the house, and so that's why 70% of her body is burnt up. But he finessed the whole situation. He finessed the whole relationship by not even telling her that he's the reason that happened, and pretty much gaslit her the fuck up. Not literally, but literally at the same time. Bitch, he had the audacity. He had the audacity. Let me just say that. He had the audacity. This is why I can give Colleen Hoover a little bit of a pass. Only reading one of her books. because even though I didn't give it a high rating, I can appreciate a book that still got me talking about it, or still got me feeling some type of way, whether it makes me, a book that makes me feel happy, a book that makes me feel sad, a book that makes me feel angry. You get what I'm saying? And that's the thing about November 9. It makes me feel fucking angry, because I ain't gonna cap. I have DNF'd a lot of books this year, and so I would rather feel something instead of feeling nothing, and just be like, I'm about to unhaul y'all asses and throw y'all in the trash can, or like donate y'all, because I don't want you on my shelf. Which, be on the lookout for 2024, unhaul will be coming, okay? But that's one thing I can appreciate about this book. When I pick it up and I look at it, I'm like, this motherfucker has the nerve. But this is what pisses me off about when it comes to Colleen Hoover, advertising this as a romance. This ain't no fucking romance, bitch. This is not a fucking romance. It's gonna be a no for me. Now, like, it's just gotta be a no. But other than that, bitch, that motherfucker had the audacity. And then the gag at the end. This could have been rated a hell of a lot higher for me if she hadn't pulled no bullshit where she made it to where Fallon really just came to him at the end like, oh, you're right, it's my fault, I should have listened to you. Because he, at that point, like towards the end of the book, it all comes out because he's writing a book and he didn't even tell Fallon what happened. He just wrote it in a book. She ended up finding the book, reading the book, and ended up finding out what happened to her and how it was his fault. And he was trying to explain to her the situation, but of course she didn't want to hear it at the time, which is understandable because the fact of the matter is, bitch, I didn't even find it out from you. I found it out from a book that she was writing, that she was probably going to publish. I forgot if he was going to do that, whatever. But long story short, bitch, you didn't tell me. I had to find it out from a book that you... At this point, they had met every single day on a specific day. No, not every single day. Every month? Or was it every year? What were they doing? They were doing some shit where they even... I think it was every year. Yes, a same date every year they were meeting up. So they really didn't know each other like a lot. But, girl, that's a book for you. That's just a book for you. It don't be making no sense. But at the same time, was I entertained? Hell yes. But at the same time, that ending... When she pulled that shit and made Fallon pretty much become a pick-me, bitch, no. We're not doing that. You're not gonna set a house on fire. I'm in the house, 70% burned, and gaslit me, literally and figuratively, and make me think I'm motherfucking crazy. Bitch, please. You think you're gonna get a 5-star from me? No. You think you're gonna advertise this as romance? No. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. So therefore, that's why November 9 is a disappointment of 2023. Again, I didn't have any high expectation for it, but at the same time, I don't cap. My expectation bar for that was gonna be, it's very low, just because I found out when y'all highly recommend an author or you just do a little too much for a specific author like Colleen Hoover and shit like that. I know it's gonna be terrible because I've learned my motherfucking lesson. If it was no lesson that I've learned in 2023 when it comes to books and book talk, y'all motherfuckers is liars, and therefore I will never ever listen to nothing y'all motherfuckers say again, because I ain't gonna cap. About 3 of these books have been highly favored in book talk, and bitch, they were not it. Did not like them, would not recommend them, period. But that's just me. Anyways, to the next book, I got American Royalty by Tracy Livay. I never known how to pronounce the lady's name. But American Royalty, it was a big disappointment for me. Because I had high hopes for it. Didn't like it. Didn't like the romance. Like, I liked it, but then when I had to sit down and think about it, and I'm just like, he just overly sexualized my girl a little too much. And I get it, you know, because she was a rapper and stuff like that. Like, I think if you had to compare her to like a today rapper in this world, it would probably Megan Thee Stallion. And Megan Thee Stallion is body, okay? So I understand, but at the same time, he was just doing a little too much sexualization for me, for it to be like romantic and genuine, in my opinion. So that's why it was just a big disappointment. And I kind of wanted to DNF it at one point, but I stuck through it. And what pisses me off the most is that I have the second book to this, and I highly doubt I'll read it because I didn't like this one. Let me say, I didn't dislike it the entirety of the book. I did actually enjoy it in the very beginning, but I think like towards the middle and end, it just didn't. It's just the romance between them. It was some drama that was also entertaining. I ain't gonna cap. The drama was good, but it was just the romance part of it. And again, this is a romance story, so it just didn't work. It just didn't work. Alrighty, so then the next book is coming in at one of my disappointments of 2023. It's gonna be The Inheritance Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Now let me say this. What I have learned, cause I have the entire series. I have this in the Hawthorne Legacy, The Final Gambit. I did not get that 4th book in the series, which is supposed to be like the brothers or something. I didn't get it because I've learned something, because not only do I have this, but I also have the first 2 books of her Natural series. Like I have the Naturals and whatever the 2nd book of that is. I've learned that first off, I do not like Jennifer Lynn Barnes books. I know that sounds crazy considering I have a total of like 5 of her books on my shelf, which probably are going to be unhauled. I don't like her stories. And well, first when I read this, I was enjoying it. I loved it every bit until we got to the end. That's when things got dead, because I didn't like the plot twist. The plot twist as far as like why this girl was getting inherited like a whole bunch of, how much money was she getting? Like the Tobias Hawthorne was worth $46.2 billion, and that he wrote this random girl in his will that he didn't even know. I didn't like that plot twist as to why. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but it had something to do with her just being a random girl sitting in a diner with interesting amount of like letters in her name for his little game that he was playing, bitch. Some shit like that. I ain't like that. I thought it was gonna be some real genuine shit, bitch. It was nothing. It was just a whole waste of my fucking time, and so therefore I ain't like it. I keep saying I ain't like it. I liked it all the way up until that part, and then at that point I was just like, well, that's boring, that sucks, I don't really care anymore, and therefore I just didn't read the other 2 books. This was actually the first book that I read when I got out of my reading slump, and also like certain personal things were going on in my life, so it was kind of like a little subplot that happened in this that was kind of triggering for me, because it was like reflecting on my real life a little bit. So when I read, I was like, okay, let me just keep on going, and I did enjoy myself besides the plot twist at the end. But then I've learned that when it comes to Jennifer Lynn Barnes, she continuously uses that same little mini plot thing that triggered the fuck out of me in her other book, The Naturals. And so, bitch, I was just trying to do some research. Like, I'm trying to figure out, is this like a personal thing that you're going through in your own life? Is that a reason why you keep adding this into all your books with your main characters? And I have yet to like find out if it's true or not. I'm still trying to figure it out. Well, actually, I ain't trying to figure it out. I ain't okay, because I've already like written her off as an author I won't buy any more books from, so I'm not trying to figure it out anymore. I just know that personally I just don't like the fact that she keeps writing her main characters like that, so I was just like, I'm not reading any more of her books, and I DNF'd The Naturals. I should have probably included that as well. It wasn't even a disappointment. Actually, it was, because I was expecting a lot more, especially when I read the plot of it. But I just didn't care. I think that's supposed to be a love triangle too and that shit. I don't know. I don't have anything against love triangles. I'm more, fuck all that drama and just make it a reverse harem type shit. And if you don't know what reverse harem is, then when the girl has like 2 or 3 motherfuckers on the side, okay? You feel me? Like, let's stop all this drama and let's just all be together. You feel me? That's just me. Okay? I'm sorry. That's just me. So at that point, I'm just like, that's like her formula. And I'm good on that. So The Inheritance Game was the big disappointment of 2023. Especially because y'all hyped it up so much. And yeah, I just didn't care for it. So, yeah. Alrighty. Now the last book that I have for my most disappointed books and reads of 2023. Can Can you guess? Just guess. If you guys are not new to the channel, you're not new to this, you're true to this, then you already know what book I'm about to have. And I had to save it for last because it's probably the worst rated book that I ended up reading this year. Come on, take a guess. I'm gonna give y'all time. You finish? Great. Fourth Wing. I rated this like a half star. I rated this a half star. I've never rated a book a half star in my life. I don't even allow myself to get to a point to rate a book a half star. You know why? Because I am the DNF queen. I have no problems DNFing a book. But I pushed through for this because I had a reading vlog of this shit. And this is, again, another reason why I don't trust none of y'all motherfuckers when it comes to book talk. I don't trust y'all. Because you stay lying. You stay lying. You stay deceiving. And you just scam us. All of you. All of you. You just scam us. Okay? You scammed me. You made me think this was going to be amazing. Bitch. No. 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 It's going to be a no for me. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. I ain't going to say no more about this. Because if you want to know how I feel about this, then go watch that reading vlog. Just know it's a no. So. Fourth Wing, no. So again, my biggest disappointment of 2023 was Fourth Wing, The Inheritance Game, American Royalty, November 9, Yakuza Lover, Love on Top, and Sweat and Soap. Those were my biggest disappointments of 2023, and yeah. Alrighty, you guys. So now, we're done with the negative. Out with the bad, in with the good. Let me not say negative. It wasn't too negative. A little bit, maybe. But out with the bad, in with the good. Okay, the top books, top reads of 2023. Okay?
And I